So Bret, how long does it take to develop a pitch for a new business in a market you haven't been in?
I love this question. This is a great question. It depends if you can really accelerate it if you find a domain expert to work with. So if you're a technologist and you're moving into the healthcare space, it'd be great to find someone that understands that market really well. If you're in the healthcare space and you need technology for your company, find a technologist. And that will, not only will it accelerate the pitch, but it'll add credibility to the pitch as well. So the time, let me answer, depends how deep you want to go on the market analysis. That's probably one of the biggest areas in the competition. You could do that research, but you could pull together a pitch in a few short weeks and test it before you go for the real pitch with friends and family and mentors.
I haven't heard anybody say how they protect technology, and I think patenting is probably one of the first things you need to do, just to protect the technology.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and completely agree. I have at least 4 patents, and I do that every time I start a company. If I have an idea that's unique, is go through that process, and it actually adds value to your presentation and the investors because they feel, and you will have patent protection. So if you apply for a patent, and probably the next question is how long does that take? You could do a provisional patent, which are in the low hundreds of dollars to get your idea initially through the process. It could be $15,000 for a full-blown software patent. But the idea is, if you spend the time and do that, investors are much more likely to put money into your company because they understand that the actual invention is patented and protected. Great point. I have to fix my slides.
So suppose you have your pitch set. How do you find the investors, and how do you find the right investors who are interested in your area and understand what you're about?
That's a great question. This is a great crowd. So you could come to the Northeastern Mentor Program, and we can. And I'm not getting paid for that, by the way. So it's really about networking. I think that you could do a search on the web and find the particular investors that have a portfolio of similar type companies. That's probably the best way. A lot of investors like to have a certain practice, so they have a focus, and whatever that may be, if you see a couple of companies in there with a similar type of profile of the product or service you're developing, that's a great place to start. But I would recommend trying to get in kind of a backdoor invitation to meet with them or introduction. Just sending it through the front door, they look at so many plans that it may get discarded inappropriately. So I think it's pays to network, find somebody that can really make that connection for you, and that'll go a lot smoother.
So as a young entrepreneur, one of my concerns is that all of us here into the health sciences or in the area of science, and I always feel like the concern is the difficulty of working with technology and working with scientific areas that, it's not just straight cut innovative ideas, it's sometimes always a difficult challenge to it. Through history, what did you do to overcome the additional obstacles you face because we're in scientific fields?
So what type of obstacles?
Well, I mean, I was saying, something we brought up earlier about patents on technology, and the investments aren't just simple $100 investment. Now you're talking about $1 million just maybe going to research and R&D before you can go a step forward to potentially creating a product. And that backlog of efforts is always something that pops up in scientific areas. And I'm wondering, what does it take at the beginning of a company to get that support and obstacles might overcome more and face beforehand even.
Sure, Mark.
Can I help a little bit? What many people do if they're dealing with a therapeutic or a specific medical device, they're going to find someone who has regulatory experience and choose that path that has the least regulatory hurdles. So you're basically going to try to find something where the regulatory hurdles are as minimal as possible, because if you sit there and say, I've got this great new drug, wouldn't it be great? You're not, as a beginning entrepreneur, going to be able to carry that forward. You have to find something that is like a medical device that only requires a 510K, or even maybe something even smaller than 510K. So really choose what your idea and therapeutic and scientific idea, such the regulatory hurdles are minimal if possible. But get the patents also right at the beginning.
Hi, so does the existence of markets with a really low barrier to entry, like say the Apple App Store, does that change any of this calculus at all? Or most of it looks like it applies, but would you think any of it changed?
Yeah, so I think in the early days when there weren't many apps, your app could rise to the top relatively easy if it was unique in its category. But now with hundreds of thousands of apps, now that this is where you actually have to put in a marketing effort and a budget, so your cost to acquire customers is much higher than it used to be because there's so much noise, there's so much competition. So in that case, what I would change here is basically looking at what is that cost to acquire new customers and move that up, and then try to partner with some type of brand or channel to actually enable that to actually your app to rise higher in the App Store.
The partial answer to where to find investors is that there are investors networking groups that they gather every once in a while. I used to get all kinds of invitations to go there. I went to a few and gave up. But there are groups like that with the internet.
So I used to be an investor for life sciences, so I strongly endorse the power of networking. You have LinkedIn and tools like that, so you may be once or twice removed from someone in the firm. There's absolutely no replacement for an introduction to somebody in the firm. We used to review everything very thoroughly because you can always find a diamond in the rough, but having the recommendation of somebody you know goes a long way. You'll take that extra review dozens and hundreds of business plans, and receiving something with somebody's endorsement goes a long way. The other thing I wanted to emphasize is go as wide as you can. Don't start limiting the investors at the front end because you can't afford to do that. Go as many as you possibly can, and a lot of that will sort itself out, but it will also give you great practice in how you're delivering the pitch. If you're sending a clear message, you may think you're being clear because you're sort of 24/7 very close to your business proposition, and you may turn out that you get great feedback. I had a lot of feedback from companies saying, thank you, we understand why you passed on us, but it helped us really sharpen the pitch. That's very, very important. It goes back to Chris's point, you explain it to your mother. You also explain it to somebody who's not in love with this technology and make it clear and to the point. So go as wide as you can. That's the best advice I can give you, because also people's business models change over time. So.
Thanks, Christina. Hey, Bret, one final question. When I did a roadshow, I think we did 45 presentations, and I found myself really getting weary, sort of an element of stamina. Any advice for the audience on how you keep it fresh? Like, how do you stay enthusiastic about it?
So whatever the idea is, when I shared the first slide, it's you do something that you're passionate about, that you really want to bring to the world, whether it's a service or a product, and just focus on that. And you will have some people that just don't get it and don't take it personally. They don't understand it. But the other point is use that as an opportunity to improve your pitch. So if they're not getting it, try to understand why they don't get it and be patient. And what I believe, when you go out on a roadshow and you hit 40, 45 presentations, if you didn't get money on the first one, maybe the presentation wasn't perfect, right? So keep making your pitch, bring in that feedback, and that allows you to keep it fresh because you're really looking at this opportunity. Say, what can I learn from this meeting? Was it too long? Was it too not clear? What was missing? If you don't come out of a pitch with the money, you should be coming out of it with some feedback to improve your pitch.
So that was the real answer to my first question. Pitch never ends. Pitch development never ends.
That's right. That's right. It never ends because you're going to be going to your customers and you're going to be talking to them exactly about that same value proposition. Why should they go into this model? So all the work that you do here is really a foundation for your sales, your marketing, your bringing other people onto your team to get them excited about it. So as an entrepreneur with an idea, you're forever selling that wonderful idea.
So just to add to that, another excellent point is pay attention to the questions. If the same question comes up first every time or 80% of the times, you need to make it part of your first or second slide. Don't wait for it to become the question because it's clear that it's not as intuitive as you thought it was. I saw them. I've also been on the company side, and on the company side of raising money, which I have, it's like dealing with the FDA on drug development. You never take it for granted. You never go into that autopilot mode. I think this is what Carl is getting to as well. For me, the answer was not to over-rehearse, but don't make the mistake of underestimating that each audience is slightly different. So you need to get in that mindset. It's not just another one of those things because they're going to come across fatigued and kind of on autopilot. Study the websites. Be aware of people's backgrounds in the firm, especially the people they're meeting with. I had people that were totally unaware because they haven't read my bio or somebody else's bio that had worked in very exact space. And they were actually making mistakes in the statements that they made because they haven't looked at our bios and they were not aware of, what we did before. We're in the VC world. So really do your homework. So make sure that each one is different enough so you don't get fatigued and in that mode because you just can't afford to. That could be the one presentation that makes the difference. But again, look at all the questions as an opportunity of saying, do we need to rethink the presentation? And remember, it's a presentation, it's not a data dump. And for those of us in science, that's a very hard lesson to learn. It cannot be a data dump. People can only absorb so much. The rest, the first time, the rest comes into diligence, and you give it to them in waves, but not all of it at once. It will blur the key messages.
Any more questions for Bret? Okay. Thank you, Bret.
Thank you.